Hello, Ascension Seekers. My name is Bryan Moore, and I'm very interested in connecting with people who have serious questions about our reality. Moore Ascension is on the path of seeking and attaining more light. My goal for this channel is to share my perceptions, my beliefs, my experiences, my knowledge, and my perspectives, and to infuse yours and other well thought out ideas to enable the ability for more ascension. I'm starting this YouTube channel to enable people to travel with me on a fundamental journey of ascension. Have you heard about this ascension thing? People being woke? Do you know what they're talking about? Are you already on the ascension path? Have you plateaued and need more fundamental information? Or are you interested in sharing your ascension experiences? So just what is ascension? What is ascension? I like the website www.learning-mind.com's definition. It states, ascension is the process of spiritual awakening that moves you into a higher level of consciousness. And I will start by presenting fundamental information and knowledge to assist seekers in understanding known information and knowledge, but from an ascension perspective. Hopefully, the information will help one determine the path for one to begin to research ways to increase and share their light. Again, I will begin by presenting information and knowledge most already know. You will hopefully see this information from a different perspective, an ascension perspective. You will evaluate this information, determine its value, whether it changes your belief and knowledge systems to enable you to acquire and spread more light. Your increased light and love are greatly needed, firstly by you for your ascension, secondly by others for their ascension, and thirdly by the earth for its healing. And yes, we've hurt the earth in many ways. And lastly by the universe so it can know you're progressing. Ultimately, to ascend, you must know thyself. You must know what and who you are, and how to become who and what you would like to become, if that is your true desire. To ascend means to have a certain amount of light added to your beingness. Based on my understanding, one can never have enough light. The ultimate goal of life, in my humble opinion, the bottom line of all people's sole purpose on the light path, is to attain and share as much light as one can. But the law of the conservation of matter and energy still stands, even where light is concerned. So to make room for brighter light, you must remove some darkness or lesser light. Acquiring that brighter light enables your ability to ascend. As we in the channel progress, I will also be providing new WOT or way out there information for those serious about their ascension reality. My relevant background is in computer programming, project management, and business and enterprise architecture. Programming is the process of creating a program that follows certain standards and performs a certain task. So once one understands programming in any field, you kind of basically understand generally programming in every field. And if you research programming and the mind, you will find that the mind can be programmed. And this is not new news to most. In its most obvious form, it's called hypnosis. Have you or anyone you know ever been hypnotized? If so, then you know one can be programmed. During hypnosis, right, someone else in control of your mind could have you doing things you would never agree to do under normal circumstances. Over a longer period of time, it's called brainwashing. Something you've likely heard someone tell someone else is that they're asleep. They tell them they need to wake up. But many, if not most, simply don't believe it or may not want to consider it to be a possibility for them. But are you aware of the programming? Do you agree that people are programmed? Who and what is directing people? Are you okay with the direction things are going in? Does it suit you? What about your family, your friends, and others? Is America and the world working for them? Is it really working for you? My mind deprogramming began at an early age. What really got me was a channeling tape from the Monroe Institute. It was of a channeling to save a lost boy's spirit or soul. It was such a new concept. It was very mind expanding. Shortly after that, I was introduced by my mother to Dr. Delbert Blair, or some refer to him as Brother Blair. I took all of Dr. Blair's metaphysics classes, and in 1989, I got my expanding consciousness class certification. Dr. Blair laid a broad and deep metaphysical foundation, as did my mother. One day, some years later, I was driving to a friend's house very late in the evening, and a radio program was on, Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. They had a Catholic priest on the show, Father Malachi Martin, and that was very mind-opening. So people are nudging, pushing, and hitting people over the head to get them to wake up. But some seem to prefer sleep, so let them sleep. But are you awake? Are you sure? Am I asleep? I have had to have a couple of spiritual reawakenings because the programming is strong. And the programming is very strong, whether you believe it or not. If you are awakening, or if you are awake but not diligent in staying awake, the programming, can put you to sleep or right back to sleep. So as a child and adolescent, I've had many supernatural experiences. Many people have and continue to have spiritual experiences. Many are still very reluctant to share their experiences, and I understand why. Most of my earlier supernatural experiences were non-threatening. Later, a couple were dark, but most were very inspirational and others very practical. I saw what I recall as UFOs. I had lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences. I had a couple very practical events that had to do with buying the right cars. One was for me, and later one was for a friend. Later, I started having visits by those I knew who had passed on and were looking for someone to have a connection with before they continued on their journey. It happens. So, after all that, I began seeking. I had already begun seeking, but I really began seeking. I continued seeking to acquire the highest truth of this universe that I could find. And I still do. I've read many books, I've viewed many videos, I've had many personal experiences. Dr. Blair always taught us that there is no truth until you deem it to be truth. So at this point, I've had enough experiences to move my belief to knowledge, and some knowledge to truth. For me anyway. And this has led me on a quest that has culminated in sharing information. So, even though I've been on the path for a while, my quest is still ongoing. And there's much to investigate and learn. And I hope I can learn from you. But in the end, the only thing that will move one forward on their ascension path is action. To ascend, you must act on your knowledge, your intuition, and your inner guidance. So in summary, to ascend is to gain more light. To ascend or gain more light, you must 1, know thyself. 2, seek the highest truth. 3, go within and meditate. And 4, act on your inner guidance. So, whether you ever return to this channel or not, please get and read a spiritual metaphysical book. Find a spiritual YouTube channel you trust. Join a spiritual organization if you can find one that suits you. Decide what you're seeking and continue seeking until you find it. But whatever you do, please definitely begin or continue to meditate daily. And increase your amount of meditation to the greatest amount of time that you can, whatever that is. There are many ways to meditate. You will experience great benefits. If you seek your soul purpose, and if you're diligent, you will find your soul purpose. I confirm that my soul purpose is to help people. Sounds very general, but believe me, there's a lot more in the details. once you find your soul purpose, you must act on it. It's really not rocket science. You can do it. This is why I'm starting this YouTube channel, as I present more information, and if it vibrates with you on any dimension, hit the like button if you want more ascension. Subscribe if your attention is more ascension. Hit the bell to stay out of trouble. And please feel free to share with another who you feel will care. We are Moore Ascension. Please join us. Thank you.